Good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you are. Tonight we're reading the Bible. Today we're reading the Bible, that is. Cue the flashing music that keeps you interested in what we're talking about right now. Check. Boom. All right, it's morning where I am. And we're reading from Matthew, the Sermon on the Mount. Before we do that, let's just do a quick prayer. Lord, I praise and I pray that the people that are listening to this video as much as I can be surrounded by your grace and your love, Lord. That you could extend your arm, reach out to those in need, watching this video right now, whether they are with you, God, or they've drifted away and looking to come back towards you, Lord. Bring forth your love and your light. Shine a light upon these people and let them share their message out to the world. Lord, surround them with your love, surround them with your kindness, give them strength and courage to carry on. Lord, I pray that this video and what we watch and we read today inspires others and helps trigger hope within people. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this beautiful light. Amen. Let's get into it and let's start reading. We are reading Matthew chapter 5, starting at the Sermon on the Mount, my absolute favorite. So let's go through it. So, introduction to the Sermon on the Mount. Now, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him and began to teach them. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in spirit, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacekeepers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything, except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that you may see good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Do not think I have come to abolish the law of the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. We're up to here, by the way, just so we're on the same page. Therefore, anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches the commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven." Right? And what's interesting about this is that in this time, by the sounds of it, when God is speaking about these things, not God, well, yes, God, he's speaking about these things on the Mount, it was such a shock and culture shift from what they were being told to hear, right? From previously, they were expecting, especially in the Jewish sort of community and all the sort of terrible stuff they'd gone through over the last 400 years, they were waiting and expecting, a Messiah to come that was going to release them from the Romans, that was going to take over and I guess fight off the Romans. They were looking for a warrior. And when they saw Jesus came along and was very love your neighbor, give Caesar his coins back, and was just talking in such a way that was not what they wanted to hear, right? It was such a shock. And so this is the reason why I wanted to kind of go through these verses is that this was just a true sign of what Jesus had come here to do, and really come here to say, to be honest. So murder. You have heard that it was said to the people long ago, "You shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment." But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to a brother or sister, "Raka," is answerable to the court, and anyone who says, "You fool," will be in danger of the fire of hell. Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled to them, then come and offer your gift. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you are still together on the way, or your adversary may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. Truly, I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny. This matters so much, and I have been working on this, and working on this with friends, um, on just how true of a statement this is, right? That God is the one that judges. And it's not up to us to judge others. It's not up to us because we are sinners ourselves. So for us to be able to judge someone else, we're judging through the lens of a sinner already. Yeah. And so what this really talks about, especially with, your brother or your sister, your family, your friend, whoever it is, if you feel any type of way in your heart where your heart is hardened towards that person, you have not forgiven that person, right? And that is a sin in God's eyes. And he's saying it's better for you to leave your gift at the altar, go and mend that relationship, right? Than to present your gift to the altar and have that person turn against you, right? And then you will be judged by the same straw that you judge that person. And so an easy and example way to see this is this. Is there someone in your life that's done wrong by you, that's treated you wrong, that's done something to you? Yeah. First off, understanding that. Then second, going, if that person was to walk by you on the street, would you feel something against them? Right? Whether that's an anger, a little side eye, would you feel something towards that person? If you would, that means you haven't obviously forgiven that person. Yeah. And as it reads, it states that if there's any sort of darkness or hardness within your heart towards that person, you haven't forgiven them. And you need to pray and work and pray until you get to a point where that person can walk by and all you see is love for them. And that's what kind of I take from this sort of passage. And it's a really important one because we all do it. I like that person, but I don't need to be friends with them, or I don't need to hang around that person. I like them, but I'm not going to, talk to them. And that's where, this point is so powerful that we need to forgive and love all as Jesus did, as best we can, right? Adultery. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than your whole body to go to hell. Once again, another perfect statement that we need to continuously always, I guess, work towards. Whether it's more men than women or whether it's both sides of the coin. We're all sinful people. We all have certain lusts. We all have certain things that happen, in our lives, and it's just about working towards it. And that's why it always states, God says, keep the book of the law always on your lips. And the more that we do that, the more we just devote our time to scripture and to study, the more we realize that we are sinful beings, but through God and through continuously returning to prayer and to God, we can continue to work on that path to righteousness. So let's keep going. Divorce. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Oaths. Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. This is a massive one, I guess, that you notice, excuse me, the more you read, the more you, I guess, you remove those language, well, that language in your mind, swear words, swearing to God, praying, for certain things, or saying, what do we used to say back in New Zealand? Honest to who? Honest to God. Those sort of things. As it's writing here, do not swear an oath, by the throne or by God's name or by anything, right? And it's kind of just about having integrity. Say yes if you are going to agree to something, say no. Otherwise, do not swear by anything, for you don't have the power to swear, nor keep that promise that you swear to. Right? So just something to, I guess, for us to keep in mind. An eye for an eye. So you have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. Yeah, man, these are all just such important nuggets, right, for us to go through. But it's just massive. You know, the eye for the eye, tooth for the tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them also, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. These are just, man, the fact that this was happening back then, especially at a time like I was saying to you before, when they're sitting there going, are you serious? Like, we're under oppression. We've been under oppression for 400 years. My great, great, great grandfather has been under the same Roman Empire or the same oppression for all this time. I don't think it was actually the Roman Empire for all that time, but yeah, it's you're hearing this news and you're hearing this information, and I can see how some people would love it and other people would be like, what is he saying? Right? For love your enemies. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Right? This little piece here is a great, I guess, segment to finish on here. You know, you have heard that it is said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemy and pray for those who persecute you. I do this all the time. Not that I've got a lot of people that are persecuting me, but for any time that I've ever felt any sort of hate in my heart or any sort of, uh, um, whether it's jealousy, envy, anger in my heart, I sit with God and I pray for that person. And I pray, Lord, please release me from this. Take away this anger, take away this pain from my heart. Lord, put love into my heart and share love to that person, for that person is my brother or my sister, right? And you really want to just open up your mind and open up your heart to that person because, like I said, yes, that person may have hurt you deeply. Yes, that person may have done something that you don't understand. But that's not up to you to judge that person, right? That's up to God. That's up to God. And it's His choice and it's His doing in relationship with God that they're going to have to deal with. And that's not in a negative way, like, you know, oh yeah, leave it to them. They're going to have to, you know, deal with God. But once again, there's hatred in their heart or there's negativity in their heart. But it's praying that that person will see the light and that they will find love. And they're also praying for forgiveness from God for you even feeling that way. And what it says here, he causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? See, this part really hit me hard when I first read this because it made me think straight away, like, it's so true. It's so easy to love your family and do really good stuff and be there for your friends. But what about that person on the street, right? What about that person you don't know? And it's about going, and I've really kind of shifted my perspective of going, every single person I see is my brother or my sister. And I am to love those as they are my brother and my sister, as they are my family, right? And in doing so, as he's saying here, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Yeah, it's saying that it's literally telling us to love thy neighbor, love thy friend, thy neighbor the same. Yeah. And so I'll leave it on this point. This is a nice little ending of the segment. If you guys are liking this, I do this every morning anyway. So I was just thinking I'm going to start doing it online to share it with you because I do this every single morning. If you like this video, please leave a comment. Comment down below your favorite verse within Matthew, whether it's in the sermon or it's in another area. I would love to hear about it. Let's start a conversation, and peace to you all. Have a lovely rest of the day. God bless.